So honored that you have joined us today for this very, very special event. Very quickly, I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, your host for this event. I'm the USA Today bestselling author of 15 going on 16 novels of suspense. My current novel is All This Could Be Yours, which, as we talked about in the early session, just won the Mary Higgins Clark Award for this year. And I know it's absolutely great. Thank you, thank you, thank you if any of you had anything to do with that. And it was also nominated for the Anthony for Best Hardcover Novel of the Year. So thank you. You have all been on this journey with me, and I am unbelievably grateful to you for that. My brand new book, Look at the Precious, is coming out in September. Mother, daughter, sister, stranger. And I am so excited about that. And you will hear about that when the time comes. I'm also the investigative reporter for Boston's Channel 7, winning 37 Emmys for my investigative reporting. So I lead a double life, and this is part of the joy of that. My co-host and co-founder of the Back Room is the fabulous Karen Dion. She is the USA Today and #1 internationally best-selling author of 2 psychological thrillers set in Michigan's Upper Peninsula wilderness, The Marsh King's Daughter and The Wicked Sister, published in the US and 28 other languages. The New York Times called The Marsh King's Daughter brilliant. Brilliant. And it was released by Lionsgate in 2023 as a major motion picture starring Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn. You can see it on airplanes. You can see it now on streaming. If you missed it in the theaters, it is everywhere. And I urge you to watch that. Karen enjoys nature photography and lives with her husband on a small lake surrounded by a forest in the middle of Michigan, where she holds the Muskrat Lodge Writers Retreat. Do check her website for more on that. It is amazing for me to tell you that we are in our 6th year now, which is so incredible. Karen and I have introduced you to hundreds of authors and hundreds of books, and we are still going strong about that. We also have a Substack now, Beyond the Back Room. What is it called? Behind the Pages. Is that right, Karen? Behind the Pages. My poor brain. So go to Substack, find Behind the Pages of the Back Room, where we have extras and super interesting things that you don't hear. Remember, you are only in one of the breakout rooms. What did you miss in the other breakout room? That will all be on our Substack. So click on that right away. Well, not right now. Wait till after this show is over. Then go click on the Substack, because I want to get tonight's show underway. You all know the drill. If you are not new, you know how we do this. But for people who are first timers, we welcome you so warmly. And let me tell you how the show will go. First, we'll play a quick game of 20 questions, the fabulous Backroom 20 questions, to let you know our authors a little bit more. And then we'll hear some book recommendations, and then we will break up into 2 breakout rooms where you will be able to be up close and Zoom personal with these authors for 15 minutes each. And the goal of those rooms is for you to ask questions of the authors. Karen and I will moderate the rooms, but we're just here to make sure everything is okay. We want you to ask the questions. That is the joy and the uniqueness of the Back Room. Each author gets 15 minutes in the spotlight, and you'll get a 1-minute warning when that time is up. When it's over, the new author will be in the spotlight, and you will get 15 minutes up close and Zoom personal with them. And technically, you don't have to do a thing. You don't have to click. You don't have to mouse. You don't have to do anything. You will be automatically moved into your next breakout room while you will hear from your 2 new authors. It's kind of like magic. Just like this whole show, we have 4 marvelous authors for you tonight, and let me introduce them to you and finally let them talk. Brenda Novak, author Brenda Novak is in. Hey, Brenda, welcome. Is a New York Times and USA Today bestselling author with more than 13 million books in print, translated into 20 different languages. an 8-time Rita nominee. She has won many awards, including the National Reader's Choice, the Bookseller's Best, and the Silver Bullet. She also runs the Brenda Novak for the Cure, a charity to raise money for diabetes research since her youngest son has the disease. To date, she's raised $2.6 million. She also runs the fantastic Brenda Novak Book Club. And when the show is over, just run to the Brenda Novak Book Club. This is something you absolutely want to be involved with. A new book every month with loot and swag and all kinds of wonderful stuff. It's a wonderful community. So I urge you to go there. Her brand new book is Meet Me in Italy. Look at that gorgeous book. Somebody has to do the research, right, Brenda?
That's right. I volunteer.
And I saw your pictures on Instagram. It looked like you just had a marvelous time.
My
Welcome,
God.
welcome, welcome. Terah Sheldon Harris, hey Terah, is an author and former librarian who now writes upmarket fiction with bittersweet endings. She is a Library Reads Hall of Fame author, and her books have been named one of the most anticipated books by an incredible list of prestigious sites, including Goodreads, and she has also been chosen as an Indie Next Pick. She was also a Goodreads Choice Award nominee for Best Debut. Terah was also named Target's First Author of the Year. She was just telling us she signed 6,500 books for that, and that was just the beginning of the sales. And her books have been optioned for TV and film. Terah, how long did it take you to sign 6,500 books?
It took me 1 week, one solid week, because we kind of divide them up by day. So just 1 week, but my hand was so sore.
Was it honestly sore? It really hurt from that?
Yeah, it really, I mean, because I hold my pen, I hold everything really hard.
Hmm.
And so that finger where I lay it was just throbbing.
You know, though, it's a good problem,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
a problem we'd all love to have. Welcome. I'm glad you're here tonight. We're glad you.
Thank you.
Gillian McAllister is the New York Times and Sunday Times best-selling author of 11 novels. Best-selling is like super mega best-selling author of 11 novels, including the Reese's Book Club pick, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which I have told her is my favorite book of all time. I've told you that many times. And her brand new book, the Read with Jenna pick, Caller Unknown. She lives in the middle of nowhere in the UK. That's what she says, where she writes full time. Welcome, Gillian.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
It's so nice to see you, and thank you for being a stalwart. I know it's 5 hours later where you are.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is why I look a bit worse for wear. I've tried to boost myself up again, but it didn't really work.
It worked. It worked. We're so pleased that you are here tonight. Thank you for that. And then we have Tracy Sierra. Hey, Tracy. Tracy was born and raised in the Colorado mountains. She is an attorney who currently lives in New England in an antique colonial era home, complete with his own secret room. You can ask her about that. When not writing, she spends time with her husband and 2 children. Night Watching was her debut novel and was selected as a Jimmy Fallon Book Club pick. We'll talk to her about that. And her newest book is Warning Signs. Welcome, welcome, Tracy. Oh, hold up that beauty. Yes. Wonderful.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
We can't wait to hear about being a Jimmy Fallon Book Club pick. Was that amazing?
Yes, yeah, it was very surreal, I'll say.
Well, we'll talk more about that in the breakout room because I know you have all this inside scoop about that. So let's, without further ado, go on to this is the ado we do for you. Let's go on to our not quite 20 questions for the authors. Brenda Novak, I'll ask in the order that I see you on the screen. Brenda Novak, thinking of your current novel, was that always the title?
Yes, surprisingly, I often come up with a working title, and sometimes my, publishing house will say, "Well, do you have any other ideas? Do you want to send a list?" It means they're not quite down with it, but they don't want to say we don't like it. And this time, it just sailed right through. They all stuck with it, and I'm glad they did because it has spawned a new series of Meet Me titles, and my next one that I'm working on now is Meet Me in France.
You know, I see your fine hand. I see the idea behind this. That is such a genius idea. So
Yeah,
was the idea,
go
go ahead.
back and do the research. I got the idea for the story from my daughter's wedding. So I'd actually been there and seen it all, but we got to go back in March and we recorded a read along video for readers to go with it that we thought would be fun for them to actually see the path that the characters, walked and where they ate and what they saw.
That is so wonderful. Talk about the movie in the mind unspooling as somebody reads the book, and what a great idea for a series. We'll talk more about that in the breakout room. That's quite genius. Gillian McAllister, what was your very first job?
Mm.
Well, first of all, I forgot to hold my book up a minute ago, so here it is. I worked on a farm for one day, and they told me not to come back because I was doing like the animal corner where you like get the animals out for children to like pet, and I lost their tortoise. Which is hard to do because they apparently are so slow, but it ran off, and it was never found. So I was sacked.
A tortoise can't run off. I mean,
It really did. I mean, I was 16, but it really did run.
That's hilarious. That sounds like a wonderful children's book for you to write.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
so true.
It really does. It really does. The tortoise gets away. I like that.
Yeah, great title.
Tracy, when you watch crime fiction on TV or when you read crime fiction novels, do you try to figure out the end or do you just go along for the ride?
I think I try to go along for the ride, but I think kind of like pretty much all writers, you kind of can't help but log away all of the things that you're seeing and kind of catalog it and think how you would do it. So kind of inadvertently, I end up figuring things out a lot earlier than I would like sometimes. But one of my favorite things to do is go back and reread or rewatch things that the first time around surprised me, because then you can like really appreciate all those things you didn't notice the first time. So
Yes, and I sometimes, and I'll admit to you, sometimes I read the ends of books first. I'll read the first chapter and then read the end, then go back to the first chapter because there's so much that you miss of how carefully the author put together the story when you're just reading as fast as you possibly can to find out what happens. Don't yell at me, you all, for reading.
I want to. I really do. I want to, but I won't.
Don't do it to our books, you all. No, don't do it. I do it purely for research and education as an author, not as a reader. Okay. Terah, is there something on your desk that's a special memento or something that means something to you that you have when you write?
This is going to be very strange, okay? So it's a pencil sharpener, and I write with these special pencils. I love Blackwing pencils. So like this is the pencil, and so it has a solidarity. Look at that. I love Blackwing
Exactly.
pencils.
Yes, I do
And
too.
so I write all my books longhand. And so I need my pencil and my pencil sharpener. And I just love this pencil sharpener so much. And it came up missing. And I was very concerned about where it was. And my husband was like, have you checked? Because you don't see what I see here, but there's like a pile of like papers and stuff. And it was just buried. But I was genuinely concerned about my very special pencil sharpener. Do you have one of these, Hank? Did you get
I
one of
do.
these?
I do. I was going to ask you if it's a special Blackwing pencil.
Yes.
There's something about, I mean, these happen to be the red and white ones, but I have ones with Beatle lyrics on them, and I have ones that are just black and gorgeous, and the erasers come out, so
Yes.
you all just get Blackwing pencils.
Just get them. Just get them.
Makes a huge difference.
I don't think I've written with a pencil since I was in school.
Really? Oh.
I don't even have a pencil in this house. It's so much harder to write with than a pen, but hats off to you guys. I'm going to have to try them and see what's so great about them.
Yeah.
You know, it is interesting, and I don't mean to go on about it, but yet I will. There's just a different feel, isn't there, Terah, of the pencil?
It's a feel. It just glides through. I mean, I have given away so many these pencils and sent them as so many gifts just because I love them so much. It just writes so smoothly. So once you go Blackwing, there is no turning back. I'm just want to warn you on that.
I so agree with you. I send them to people too. I know we're going on about this. I send them to people too, and and it's like, this isn't just a pencil. I know
It's
it's like
not.
weird that I'm sending you pencils, but trust me, they're good. All right, we'll go on. We'll go on to the next chapter. We'll come back to the Blackwing pencils. Brenda Novak, what was your favorite book as a child?
Oh, you know what? You guys are going to probably yell at me, but I did not like reading when I was
Oh,
being taught as a child. I absolutely hated it. And the teacher forced us to go to the school library and we had to record one book that we had read a week. And so I muddled through my first couple years learning, but then I found the row of classics that just I was like, "Oh my God, if this is reading, this is what I've been missing out." And I found Jane Eyre. And that book just stands in my memory as my all-time favorite book. It had that lovely gothic edge that I love. It had the romance, which of course is something that I really love, a good romance, and it had enough mystery, and I just thought it was just lovely. So that was my favorite book, and it's what inspired my first book, which was an English set historical.
it's so interesting how the right book at the right time can change your life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's great. That's a good story. Um, all right, Gillian McAllister, when you were a kid, besides being in charge of the tortoises, what did you want to be when you grew up?
An author. I
Oh,
know it's probably a expected answer, but yeah, if you'd asked me at any age, pretty much from about age 7, I would have said author, and I was always writing.
why was that? Was there a book that you loved that inspired you?
It's weird. I wouldn't say it was particularly connected to reading, which is maybe a strange thing to say, but it was an urge to uh, write about my own life, which has now passed. But I now, obviously write fiction, but it was an urge to write. Like it felt innate to me and it felt quite separate from reading.
That's lovely. I would have loved to have seen little Gillian. Did you write things when you were a kid?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wrote. Do you remember like word art?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if like is anyone as old as me, but like I wrote like a kind of graphic novel when I was about 11 using word art as like a prompt.
Oh,
It
wonderful.
was very bad.
No, but it's all experimental. It's all getting your
Yeah.
sea legs as being a writer. I think that's great. That's great. Tracy Sierra, are you a morning person or a night person?
Um, Unfortunately, my son is in middle school, so I'm now forced to be a morning person. He has to have his butt in his chair at 7:15 a.m. now, which means I'm getting up. Sometimes he has chess club before school,
Oh,
which means I'm waking up every morning at like 5:30. It's not natural to me, but now because I've been doing it this whole last year, now every morning I'm waking up like 5:30, even on the weekends. Which is rough because like before bed I read on my Kindle and I love like being in bed and it being dark and reading on my Kindle. And now like that time is kind of eaten into. So I guess I'm a morning person for now, but I'm bitter about it.
I hear that. I hear that in your voice. At least you
Yeah.
don't have to play chess at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. I
That
don't
seems
know how I respect it, but my goodness.
that seems excessive. But you know what? If he loves it, he loves it. That's a great
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. I don't even know how to play.
Well, you can learn it from him if you get up early enough. That's the
Yeah.
that's the key. Tara, our final
Yes.
question. What is the best thing that happened to you today?
Um, well, I've been outside in my garden. I am starting this rose garden, and me and my husband cleared this entire section for where we're going to plant the new roses, and it just looks so good. I'm so excited about finally getting my hands in dirt after being on the road, talking about this book for the last couple of months. And so that just really made me happy. It's like the fact that I cannot hold up my hands because my fingernails still have a little dirt in them. And so yeah, just being outside. I'm in South Alabama, so it was hot, so we had to get it done very early in the morning because when we're at 90, but our humidity is really high. And so yeah, that's the best thing that happened to me today. It's just being outside.
Are they budding now, or are they just do they not have buds yet?
I bought the bare root ones, so
Oh,
they have nothing on them yet. So we're just like preparing for them.
well, you'll have to send us photos. We'll all follow you on Instagram to get pictures of the roses.
I will, for
That's
sure.
That's great. That's great. Well, if you don't want to talk about pencils anymore, you all, let's go on and talk about books. We love to hear what books our authors are reading because for Karen and me, the goal is to have your TBR piles go up and up and up. You'll notice we call it the back room, which is also TBR. And this is how we can let you know what our wonderful authors are reading. So we've asked each author to give us a recommendation of a book that they love, and we'll start with Brenda Novak. What are you recommending?
Today I'm recommending Jodi Picoult's Mad Honey. I don't know how many people have read it out there. I'm sure quite a few because she's so popular, but I was blown away by this book. I loved the surprise reveal, totally took me by surprise. I thought that the mystery part of it was really great. I also loved the internal conflict of the mother. For those of you who don't know the basic premise, a mother of a teenage son who's in high school, his girlfriend gets murdered, and he is people are looking at him thinking that he's the one who did this because of some issues that have been happening between them in their relationship. And so the perspective is mostly from the mother. And I could, of course, really identify with that and wonder, what would you do if your beloved son and you're hearing these things that are making you think, could he have done it? Anyway, she just is masterful at the way she presents information, at the strength of her voice. And I just felt like it changed me as a person by the end, certain perspectives that I had. And it gave me sort of an insider view. And I think that's when literature is at its best, is when it makes you shift perspectives and see things from a little bit different light. And it makes you a kinder, more generous person. And I feel like this book had it all.
That is wonderful to hear. And Jodi Picoult is such a marvelous woman, such a marvelous person. She says that that her books are some of the most banned books in the country. She's had more banned books than any other author. So that's reason enough to support her. And I hear
She
this.
takes on some challenging issues. I mean, each new book really, she doesn't shy away from things that could alienate certain sectors of people. And I respect that about her.
I agree. Totally agree.
Hmm.
Gillian, what are you recommending?
I have been recommending for months The Death of Us by Abigail Dean. Ostensibly, it's a crime novel about a husband and wife who suffer from what the blurb calls a home invasion, but is actually a serial killer breaks into their house and he doesn't kill them. Um, and it tells the story basically like a decade and a half later when he's apprehended and they have to attend the trial. But it's so much more than that. It's a book about trauma and memory and what happened the night of the home invasion that kind of fractured their marriage. It's really such a perfect novel. I recommend it to everyone.
It's interesting because she's so popular in the UK and not as
Mhm.
known in the US. So thank you for letting us in on this
You're
terrific
welcome.
author. I'll have to. What else has she written? Do you remember what
She
else?
wrote Girl A, which I
Uh-huh.
think did break out slightly in America. So yeah, she doesn't shy away from like quite dark topics.
I thought that sounded familiar. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Tracy, what are you recommending?
I'm recommending Dead Weight. Can you see this on my daughter's iPad? Dead Weight by Hildur Knutsdottir. She's an Icelandic author and she's been writing in Iceland for a while, and this is her second like English translation. And it's sort of like Strangers on a Train, only with like a dark horror kind of aspect to it. And I just really like it. It's really also just like beautifully written, concise. I don't know, as someone who's always trying to pare back my own word count, and I just appreciate like an elegant little novel. And that's really what it is. And yeah, but it's very, if you like, Scandinavian noir type of stories, it's really, really good.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. That sounds wonderful. And Death of Us was Shanna says, Death of Us was one of my favorites of 2025. So lots of shout outs in the comments for you all. Tara, what's your book that you're recommending?
I am, excuse me, I am recommending The Mad Wife by my writing bestie, Megan Church. It tells the story of Lulu, a 1950s housewife who is this, amazing woman. She makes these fantastic Jello molds, and something is just not quite right with Lulu. And so she has this neighbor that moves in, this family moves in across the street, and she is just like, what is going on with this neighbor? And so it's historical fiction, but it kind of has this mystery thriller kind of element to it. And it has these amazing twists and turns. And I just could not believe it whenever I read this book. I mean, just when she was talking to me about it, like when she was writing it, I just could not believe these twists and turns. And so it by far was my favorite read of this year.
I so agree. I love this book. We've had Megan here in the back room, and she is absolutely great. And I was telling her that when I was reading this book, there was a part of it that I was just turning the pages as fast as I
Yeah.
possibly could because I thought, no, 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 don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really, really well done. And she is
Yeah.
as well. You all, these have been marvelous books. I absolutely love to hear. We all love to hear what you have recommended. And this is one of the things that Karen and I care about so deeply is to let us all discover new books, to share the books that we love and to share the books that our authors love. And that way of finding maybe a wonderful new favorite book or maybe a wonderful new favorite author. That is why we are here. So quickly, let us get ready to go into the breakout rooms. You first remember, you don't have to do anything, just sit tight. It's kind of the magic part. But when you arrive in the breakout room, we are happy to have you turn your camera on. That's just great. If you're shy, it's fine to turn your camera off, but do leave your mic on so you can ask questions if you like. You may have to unmute when you move into the breakout room. If you are shy and you don't want to raise your electronic hand to ask a question on camera, you can always pop your question in the chat and Karen and I will shepherd that question to the author. If you know about raising your electronic hand, just hover your mouse over the reaction screen at the bottom of the screen where it says the heart and click on the caret and up will come raise hand and you can just raise your hand. Authors, remember that when a person raises their electronic hand, the screen will move, so don't be put off by how the screen changes. All of you who are in the breakout rooms tonight, remember to put your screen in gallery view so you can see all of the people, not only who is talking, but the people who are sharing the room with you. Each author will get 15 minutes to talk and network with each of you in the breakout room. Karen and I will be moderators, but we are not here, as I said, to interview these authors. We are here to provide you a way of getting up close and Zoom personal with our authors. After 15 minutes, you'll be moved to the next author. After 30 minutes, you'll be moved to a new breakout room while you'll hear from the next two authors. So all in all, you will get 15 minutes, all of you, with each of our marvelous authors. So after that, we'll get whooshed away. So we'll move into the breakout room now. It's going to take 5 or 10 seconds for Magic Tom to move us into the breakout rooms. We will see you then. And again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we'll see you in the breakout rooms. Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.